Back to the main series, we have big deal from my childhood, the New Mutants Special Edition, the New Mutants Travel, issue 2, introducing Deathstroke the Terminator, who has appeared, Hi, I'm Glenn Simpson, and I've collected comics for over 40 years, and I'm showing off my collection one box at a time. Today we're looking at box number 114. It begins with some more New Mutants, picking up where we left last time. We're going to have new Suicide Squad, new Superman, new Talent Showcase, the full new Teen Titans run, as well as some new Thunderbolts. So it's going to be a good time. Glad you're here. Please like and comment and subscribe, especially comment. Let me know what you're thinking. If there's anything in any of these packs that you'd like to see, let me know. We'll make a special video about that. But hey, let's get going here on Glenn Simpson's Comics. All right, here we go. So we start this box with the third New Mutants series. There was a couple of mini-series before this that had some sort of, colon something. We'll see them in a second. But this is the third ongoing New Mutants series. Kind of got the home team back together. All the old friends. Issue 1 through issue 8. Getting into the... I can never decide if this is X Necrotia or Necrotia X, but it's, has to do with the dead walking. I don't know. Issue 1 or issue 8. And we got issue 9. Magic doing her thing, killing everybody. Maybe that's not really always her thing, but it's her thing right this second. And we got this fellow here on the cover of 16. Project Purgatory. Issue 17. These are pretty covers. Right there. We get to the Age of X. So Age of X was Legion. It's very similar to Age of Apocalypse and things like that. It's an alternate reality for the X-Men, but the difference is it's really kind of all in his head, or he's creating a bubble around where all the X-Men are, and so that everything they're experiencing is just kind of within that bubble, which is ironic because there is a mini-series called Age of X Universe or something like that, and in which case it shows what all the other heroes, Captain America and whatnot, are doing during the Age of X, but they wouldn't be because it wasn't happening to them. So anyway, but issue 24 is the New Mutants tie-in to that. We come out of there and get into 25. Still basically got the main team here. There. And issue 32. Let me get you. It is right there. Hang on a second. I'm going to get you straight, lined up better. Okay, that's a little better. Anyway, issue 32. Continue into Regenesis. Issue, the big crossover. I don't even remember what Regenesis was, but just another change in the vibe. Issue 33. Got Warlock. Sure, focused Warlock. Issue 40. Warlock and Cypher teaming up as they always do. Wait, that's 40. Stand by. And then 41. Got Blink. You know, Blink was first introduced in the Age of Apocalypse as, in theory, sort of a mutant who had, in the normal history, had, you know, died or something had happened to her. In the Age of Apocalypse history, she was still around, but of course we were seeing her for the first time. And then she was so active in the Exiles series that looks like they took the opportunity to bring her into the regular continuity. And yes, folks, ladies used to wear pants like that. That's issue 41. Issue 45. Pretty cool cover. Everybody's got Warlock armor. You've got Warlock armor, and you've got Warlock armor. 46. And you've got Warlock armor, and you don't have Warlock armor. There, little smoochy smooch. And then it ends with 50 right there. And we have the next series which is part of, is this the part of the Krakoa? It's got to be part of Krakoa, because there's Mondo, and he'd be dead otherwise. And we have plant things. Okay, I was looking for the, you know, the symbol or whatever, but anyway, so yeah, then during the Krakoa period, we have a New Mutants book. I believe this is artist Rod Rice, who does a really interesting, almost Bill Sienkiewicz impression. It's really the vibe you get from that. Issue 1 through issue 8. There. Issue 9. Scary. Through issue 12. Magic doesn't want to talk to anybody. Let's see, so if that's 12, that would make this issue 13. This is the Alex Ross Timeless variant, featuring old school Colossus. Apparently somebody else was on the regular other X-Men books, and Alex Ross didn't include any New Mutants in his Timeless series, at least not that round. Issue 16, right there. Issue 17, new writer. Well, we got a new writer a few issues ago. There. Issue 20 through issue 24. Chutes and Ladders. That's kind of what I was looking for. That was okay. Yeah. 25. Magic cover. 28. Ooh, we got a lot of exposure there. Issue 29. Got Warpath versus what's his name? Akihiro. Dark Wolverine. 33. Final issue of this New Mutant series, and the last issue of the last, you know, purely New Mutants titled series. Now, somewhere along the line, we had the New Mutants Dead Souls miniseries. Got issue 1 there. We got Strong Guy hanging out. Through 6. Oh, for those who are not familiar, yes, this guy's code name is Strong Guy. Because he just doesn't have a lot of imagination. He's like, I'm a strong guy. What more do you need? We've got New Mutants Lethal Legion from not too far back. Part of the Krakoa stuff. Greg Land doing covers. Oh, this is a variant cover. 31. Right there. Through issue 5. Then jumping back to the main series, we have Big Deal from my childhood, the New Mutants Special Edition. The New Mutants travel to Asgard and all kind of wind up in different parts of Asgard and find their way, and it's all Arthur Adams artwork, and it is beautiful. I used to have a binder, and I would make copies of Arthur Adams' work and put it all in a binder so I could look at it without looking at the computer, at the comic again. That's how much I liked Arthur Adams back in the day. Sweet, sweet. So, New Mutants Special Edition. Then we've got New Mutants Summer Special from the Brett Blevins period. Brett Blevins. And New Mutants Truth or Death miniseries, bringing back Magic, I guess, since she had died. There. Issue 3. We have New Mutants War Children. Is that Rod Rice? Just kind of a one-shot. No, Sienkiewicz. See, it's hard to tell them apart. Just kind of a throwback story, celebrating 80 years. Right there. Not 80 years of New Mutants necessarily. Alright, and so that finishes New Mutants. We got Newsboy Legion Boy Commandos Special. So this was one of several mini one-shots celebrating the 100th, what would have been the 100th birthday of Jack Kirby, featuring some of his characters that he created. The Newsboy Legion and the Boy Commandos were both kind of fell into the same style, where you had just a bunch of kids who had adventures. The Newsboy Legion did it in the city. The Boy Commandos had their adventures, in World War II. So there you go. That's one shot there. Then New Suicide Squad. So this was part of the New 52. I believe this wasn't one of the original 52. I don't think. No, because you got Joker's daughter and stuff. So this was, as we mentioned in the other video, they take the regular series and put the word new on the front just to kind of spice things up. It's issue 1 through issue 4. Harley Quinn was still doing that black makeup around the eyes thing as she was during the beginning of the New 52. Issue 5. Got the weird reverse flash that they added for the New 52. Let's see. Got issue 12. 70. This is the Green Lantern 75th anniversary variant cover. There. And the issue 13, one of the monsters of the month, variant covers. Cover date December, but it came out in October for Halloween. Through issue 22. Right there. Suicide Squad movie coming out soon. Then they had an annual with this new Reverse Flash. The the West family tree is really confusing because they established some things in the New 52 that were changes, but then you know they kept Wallace West, and so I don't know who's the brother of who and who. You know, it's a bit of a mess. Somebody should fix. Mark Waid should figure that out. Mark Waid, if you're watching, figure that out. Then, as we saw in the previous video, the New 52 Futures End was a 48-issue crossover-y series, and each of the main series had these hologrammy covers, one-shots. Then we get to New Superman. So in the Rebirth, we have Jean Yang coming in and doing a Chinese superhero who he sort of ends up with the powers of Superman. And he has to learn how to use them. He's kind of a jerk at first, so he has to learn to become a good guy. It's issue 1. He joins up with other Chinese superheroes, who are all mostly copies of American superheroes, including the Chinese Batman. Issue 9. There was a point after Rebirth, after the death of the New 52 Superman, that Lex Luthor decided he was going to be the Superman, and he decided to, so he had this armor with the S on it. This character had been introduced over in the Flash, but she was also Chinese, so it was a nice, merger they were able to do there. Issue 15, the Suicide Squad's got him. Speaking of Suicide Squad, issue 16, right there. And then at some point in between 16 and 24, the series officially becomes New Superman and the Justice League of China. I went ahead and just bagged that all up together. That's issue 24, where that series ends. New Superman has gone on to appear in Action Comics. He's kind of come to live in America for a while, and he was part of the larger Superman family that was all kind of hanging out together for a couple of years ago. And then they kind of dispersed again for the most part. But that's issue 24. Alright. So then we have New Talent Showcase, which, is basically what it sounds like. They were giving lots of people a chance to introduce their characters and publish and be seen. And then I guess DC could see how well they do with deadlines and whatnot, and fans could write in and say who they liked. So lots of new superheroes, which of course you'll never see them again, or most of them, I don't think. But and it was a direct sales only book. There was no barcode, so that's issue 1 through issue 4. Usually it's like a new penciler would get it's like an established, inker so that, you know, just in case they, you know, to tighten it up a little bit. Issue 5 there through issue 8 there, and issue 9 through issue 12. Some of these people did go on to do other work for DC and Marvel. Issue 13. I'm surprised to see Mindy Newell here, because I mean, I remembered her as being very well established around this time, but I guess not. Maybe not. Issue 13, or maybe it was Eric Schanauer that was the new part of that. Issue 15. I liked this one. It was, you know, the Desperados, Southwest heroes, including an Asian American cowboy, Tex Wong, the Canton Kid. Then, for some reason, it shifted to becoming just talent showcase. So I guess this would have been the, you know, equivalent to Marvel Fanfare, where they were just kind of burning out some weird stories, and I mean, it wasn't anything that featured characters you're familiar with, so not sure who these were, which book this might have been, what books these might have been originally created for. But we've got issue 16. Technically, you know, the title changed, but we're keeping them here. Issue 18 there. And I guess because it's the last issue, this one's a little pricier. We have issue 19, cover by Dan Adkins. And there was a one-shot in 2018, New Talent Showcase 2018. Just, I guess, the same idea, but letting them work on, you know, DC characters. And I guess, you know, it wasn't shortly. I think not too long after that, after this, they started doing the, you know, holiday-oriented quarterly books. So I think this might have been a kind of a tryout for that. So there you go, issue 1 of that. Then we have another New Talent Showcase, the Milestone Initiative. So similar thing, but focusing on the Milestone group of characters right there. Oops. All right, then we have a biggie. We've got New Teen Titans #1. This, along with the DC Comics Presents #26, which, you know, is the preview, just is what hooked me on comics and led me down the path that I have been on, because it just really hit me hard. It was just, I really enjoyed the stories and the camaraderie and the detail and the art, and there was so much I loved about it. So that's what really got me going. My copy happens to be signed by George Perez. This is not the original. I don't know what happened to the original. I wore it out. But that is issue 1. And just because it was so special to me, I picked up the Millennium Edition that came out around 2000, I think, with just, you know, it's just a reprint, kind of like a facsimile. But now for the rest of the world, the most important issue is the next issue, issue 2, introducing Deathstroke the Terminator. who has appeared, you know, lots of places. And this also happens to be the first cameo of Trigon, Raven's father, demon father, and of course the first appearance and last appearance of Grant Wilson as the Ravager. So the Hive, the secret science organization, wants to hire Deathstroke to take out the Titans. He refuses, so then they go and get Deathstroke's son and turn him into a version of the Deathstroke and send him after the Titans, and he's already mad at the Titans for something, and so he shows up. So then Deathstroke is kind of forced to show up to keep him from dying, because his powers are killing him, but he's too late and his powers kill him, and then Deathstroke blames the Titans for all that, which makes perfect sense. And this will lead, of course, down the road to what they call the Judas contract. But that's New Teen Titans issue number 2 right there. Here we make our way through issue 3 versus the Fearsome 5, including Dr. Light. There. We've got a crossover with the Justice League in issue 4. Raven had asked the Justice League for help first, but they sensed the darkness in her or whatever and wouldn't help her, so everybody's got to fight for a bit. Issue 5, regrettably, the one issue that George Perez did not draw the interiors on. If I had a time machine, I would just go back in time and pay him however much money it took for him to not take whatever vacation he decided to take, so that we would have a complete set. It's issue 5 through issue 8. A Day in the Lives. This was notable for being one of the earliest books where really nothing major happens. Like, you know, there's no supervillain fight. There's a little bit of action, but it's mostly just about, you know, what are they doing in their day-to-day life? You know, what's going on with them? Issue 9 versus the Puppet Master or Puppeteer or something like that. The DC version of that character. Issue 9. Issue 12. The Teen Titans get involved with the Titans of Myth, and they kind of brainwash Wonder Girl into being on their side. This would kind of get retconned later, since when Wonder Girl's origin would get modified to involve the Titans of Myth. Oops, sorry. Let's see. Did you see this one? Was it good? We good? Okay. I'm so excited at looking at the books. I'm not looking through my viewfinder. Issue 13. We find the Titans run into Robot Man from the Doom Patrol, who was, of course, an old teammate of Beast Boys / Changeling. Issue 16. Notable for the preview of Captain Carrot and his amazing zoo crew, contained in the middle of it. Issue 17, bringing in the powers of Francis Kane, who's apparently a old friend of Wally West's. Issue 20. Another funny bit, another bit of a post-crisis retcon kind of thing is Wally West had actually very, you know, friendly, loving parents pre-crisis. It's not until post-crisis that they were changed to be kind of, his father was kind of vacant and not there and all that kind of stuff. This is issue 20. Issue 21, continuing the preview trend. We've got probably this one is the first appearance of Brother Blood and this Night Force series, which was kind of a mystical series, magic-oriented thing. 21. Issue 24, Titans in Space, dealing with Blackfire, Starfire's sister, and hanging out with the haven't been around for very long Omega Men. Have not yet gotten their own book yet, Omega Men. Issue 25 continues that story. This actually will be the issue to finish this story is actually in the first New Teen Titans annual. Issue 28. The Titans meet Terra. Oh, she's a young lady. She needs some help. Let's help her. Let's bring her in. What could go wrong? She seems like a nice young lady. 29. Speedy. His kind of cool costume. Versus Brotherhood of Evil, who are the Doom Patrol villains, sort of. 29. 32. Thunder and Lightning. 33. Who Killed Trident? Mystery situation. 36, following up on the Thunder and Lightning storyline. 37, the team-up crossover with Batman and the Outsiders. So I believe this one was penciled by Jim Aparo and inked by George Perez, whereas the other side of the crossover was done by, drawn by Perez and inked by Aparo, just kind of switching up. So, or it may have been the same thing on both sides. I don't know. Seems like it's a little different. And of course, you can see that back in my earlier video where we looked at Batman and the Outsiders. That's issue 37. And then issue 40. Issue 40, we were dealing with Brother Blood, and it is the final issue of the first New Teen Titans series. The storylines from this will continue in Tales of the Teen Titans for a year or so, at which point we will have the Judas contract and things like that. And then at the same time, around about that time, the second volume of New Teen Titans, which we're about to see, comes out. And then Tales of the Teen Titans begins reprinting stories from Volume 2, and then Tales gets canceled, and they just kind of continue with Volume 2. So, until it becomes New Titans. Anyway, issue 40, final issue. We've, of course, got annuals. Issue 1, Annual 1, again, finishing up that original Starfire, Blackfire storyline. In space. And another big boy book, just barely making it out of the top loader box, is New Teen Titans Annual 2, featuring the first appearance as Vigilante of Adrian Chase, a character who I can assure you is nothing like the character in Peacemaker. He is not goofy here. He is very serious, Punisher-like guy, a judge whose family gets blown up in an explosion meant for him because he's a judge and somebody was wanting revenge or whatever. And so he goes off and he trains and becomes, you know, a badass and starts going around killing criminals and things. That's issue 2. Or annual 2. Okay, so as I mentioned, the second volume starts off at least direct sales only. It may have stayed that way. It begins telling a story, and then that story is reprinted in Tales of the New Teen Titans. Because I wound up getting those on the Tales of the New Teen Titans side, I did not start Volume 2 until the first time we have stories that were not reprinted, generally speaking. So I start with issue 13 of New Teen Titans Volume 2, which we are smack dab in the middle of the Crisis on Infinite Earths here. And here in issue 13, the Titans kind of are around long enough to do whatever it's kind of like there were some scenes showing them in Crisis on Infinite Earths, so they kind of knock all that out here, and then they go off into space, or at least Starfire and Nightwing and Jericho do, and then so they kind of digress a little, and this whole plot thing is all about how Starfire is being put into an arranged marriage to, you know, keep the peace between two planets or whatever. So they're teaming up with the Omega Men here again, an evolved group. Lots of things have changed for the Omega Men since that first team up. We've got, this is it, the marriage of Starfire. We've lost Perez at some point, you know, Eduardo Brito, Romeo Tangal, not a bad replacement. Issue. So that is issue what? 17. But we do get a little Perez back, you know, once he gets rested from his whole Crisis thing and his History of the DC Universe 2-issue thing. Donna putting together another team that just kind of all happens to, you know, be based on members from the very, very first team. Of course, Flash is Wally West, and his book hasn't started yet. So at this point, he's just kind of like, oh, my uncle's dead, blah, 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 I don't want to do anything. He's very depressed. Hawk is mad about, you know, also upset about Dove having died in the Crisis. Jason Todd is Robin because Dick Grayson has gone off to be Nightwing, and he's, you know, she keeps asking his opinion on things, and he's like, look, I'm not Dick Grayson, I don't know. So this is a little dysfunctional right here, but it looks good. It's very pretty. The return of Cheshire, and we've got to find out who's the father of Cheshire's child. That's right, there was a time when we didn't know which Titan was the father of Cheshire's child. And I remember thinking at the time, she just seemed so much older than Roy that it just really didn't make sense for him to have been old enough to father a child. I mean, I guess, you know, you can be, but, you know, there's just, you know, the relative ages and all that stuff. But that's issue 21. Issue 24, we get into the hybrid. So Mento, who is Steve Dayton, who is Beast Boy's adoptive father, is forming this group and of mutates, if you will. And it didn't click to me till years later, oh wait, they're like the Doom Patrol. Duh. He's in the wheelchair and everything. So, There you go. Issue 24. Issue 25. The team versus the hybrid. Issue 28. Brother Blood is back. So, crap, I want to call this guy Azrael, and I know that's not right. Oh, shoot. This Angel guy comes along, and he's a kind of a halfway member of the group. Brother Blood's around, and he has brainwashed Raven, and now we find out where Nightwing has been all this time. Also brainwashed. Through 32. Paul Lewitz doing some new Teen Titans writing. 33. Eric Larson doing some new Teen Titans art. Early Eric Larson. Probably, I don't know if this is before or after his work on Doom Patrol. Issue 36. Starfire gets framed for killing this villain Wildebeest. 37. Wildebeest continues to be a problem. And 40. Somewhere along the line, we gained Danny Chase, who was not a very popular character. He was a young telekinetic kid who kind of thought he knew everything. 40. 41. More of the fight with Wildebeest. 44. This character Godiva, I believe, had appeared in one of the annuals that we'll see. There. 45. So we've got the return of the kids who had appeared in the 80s Dial H for Hero series, where the boy and the girl each had a dial that had a D, had an H, E, R, and O on it, and if they dialed it, they would turn into a different superhero every time. And in that series, readers could write in and give their ideas for superheroes for them to turn into. And so this is kind of like whatever happened to them. And they'll turn up every once in a while after that. But they made an appearance here, issue 45. We've got kind of Danny Chase reviewing the origins of the Teen Titans. So for readers who might not have been familiar with those. And Ken Stacy doing a cover on there. Wonder whatever happened to Ken Stacy. 48 is not a key. It's got a high price guide value right now though, so it got the Mylar treatment. So I'm not sure. It's probably I don't even think it's the first appearance of Hammer and Sickle or whatever. But it's a pricey book right this second as of when I was reviewing this box. So there you go. Just protecting it just in case. And issue 49, we've got the return of Red Star. He had appeared originally in the OG series, and back then his name was Starfire, weirdly enough, as a Russian superhero. And then he had a very touching one-issue story in New Teen Titans. And then, here it's not quite so deep and touching, just kind of a, he's another Russian superhero mixed up in all of the Russian politics that the Teen Titans, I guess, are going to get into. And this is the final issue of New Teen Titans. The next issue will be New Titans, which I guess we'll see in a minute, or maybe next video. And yeah, probably next video. Let me see. Cheat. Yeah. Next, because this is New Teen. So by New Titans, we got something else we got to do before that. So next video, New Titans, which will be where they get into the new origin of Donna Troy and all that kind of stuff. So that's that. Hey, I goofed and had a bunch of stuff out of focus, so I'm gonna do a little quick patch here. Bear with me. So they have some annuals. This one was, of course, the first annual was done, was reprinted in Tales of the Titans. So I didn't buy that one because I had the reprint. So I started with 2, but we have John Byrne doing Teen Titans. I don't hate that. And then we do have George Perez coming back to do at least the cover on this one. Always a good thing. Then DC Comics worked with the U.S. government, the President's Drug Awareness Campaign, to produce these anti-drug specials, and each one had this character, the Protector, who was clearly supposed to be Robin, and I don't know what happened with the rights or something. For some reason, they couldn't use Robin, so they swapped him out for, they just drew over him, basically, and to made him the Protector, and that kind of thing. And so there were 3 of these, basically telling kids why they shouldn't do drugs. So that's number 1, or well, they're not really numbered. There's 3 individual ones. They're kind of boxed up here together. This one actually has Speedy in it, who, you know, he's the actually only Titan known for really doing drugs, having done drugs, having that problem. So he should have been in all of them, one would think. So that's those one-shots. Then we get to New Thunderbolts. So a play on the Thunderbolts, where the villains of the Masters of Evil take on new identities, pretending to be superheroes, only to somewhat decide they really kind of like being superheroes. So, and then the premise kind of evolves a bit over time. And like so many things, we get a new Thunderbolts. We've got the second Captain Marvel, the second male Captain Marvel, Radioactive Man, people like that. So that's issue number 1 through issue number 8 with the Shocker, Speed Demon, Tom Grummett. Then we've got issue 9, Radioactive Man, fighting Namor, right there. Then we've got issue 10 with the Purple Man, as seen in the Jessica Jones TV show. And then issue 18, which I believe was in focus, so we return you now to your previously recorded episode. We have Moonstone and her cool suit in issue 18. And is that the last issue of... Yes, that is the last issue of New Thunderbolts. I think it merges back into either Thunderbolts or New Avengers or Dark Avengers rather, or something like that. I'd have to look at it. But there you go, and that is all for this box. Okay, so that was box 114. Next time we will do 115. We're going to pick up on new Titans. We will get into some new Warriors and finish up with some new X-Men. So if you like those things, you better be here to check them out. Thanks so much for being here this time, and have a great day.